I have this sticker on my bathroom mirror that reads, "Do epic shit," and it reminds me every day to take steps towards personal growth. I love setting goals both personally and in my business, and I've finally found a way to mesh all of the different goal-setting techniques and theories and styles into one that works for me. It utilizes psychologically proven strategies and it's easy to implement. It modifies on the go. I'm going to show you how to do it in this new series on planning for your year. Does not matter when in the year you start this process. All you have to do is make sure that you start. And the way it works from a big bird's eye view perspective is that we start with understanding our yearly goals, which we break down into monthly goals, which we break down into weekly goals, which we break down into daily tasks in order to achieve the goals that we've set for ourselves. Now, this may sound really simple, and it really is, but it does take the right mindset, the right perspective, and the right understanding of how to set goals that are achievable, but push you to a place of transformation. That's what is going to happen in the next few days as we go through this series. I cannot wait to see how it goes for you. So in this video, we're going to talk about the science of setting goals as well as the principles of goal-setting success. So if you want to get started setting powerful goals that will transform you personally and in your business, well, stay tuned because today's video is for you. Have you ever set a goal that you were super passionate about in the moment, but then for some reason you never followed through and you never achieved that goal? Well, there's actually a ton of science behind goal setting and what keeps us motivated. And the researcher Edwin Locke, he was researching goal setting success. And what he found was people who set difficult goals that stretched them to a place of transformation did better at sticking to their goals than those who set easy and not as impactful goals. Let's get one step deeper. Not only were the goals that were successful difficult, but they were also specific. And the goals that didn't do as well were rather general. You can use the KISS method. Keep it simple to start with. You can have SMART goals, which is specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and time-bound. We're going to mix those together and mix in another theory known as the goal pyramid, where we go from our most specific goal all the way down to our daily habits. If we're going to talk about setting goals, we have to talk about achieving goals. And one of the things we have to talk about is what happens along the way. And that means we're going to talk about habits. As we drill down in this system, we're going to get to a point in which we're talking about our daily habits and the actions you're going to take day to day that are going to help you achieve your Everest, your tallest mountain, your biggest goal. And in order to do that, those daily habits have to become effortless to you. Here's my big tip for building habits that last. First, start out by identifying habits you already have. So if you have something you do every single morning, like pour yourself a pot of tea, understanding that those are habits that exist within your day-to-day schedule that are already natural and effortless to you. Because the second thing I want you to do is start attaching your new habits, your new desired habits, to these pre-existing habits. So if you're like me and every morning you pour yourself a pot of tea, this is a fantastic anchor action, we call them, that you can build onto. So let's add in reading for 5 minutes to my tea in my morning schedule. It's a fantastic way to build effortless action back to back on your pre-existing habits. Question for you. Do you set goals regularly? Do you set goals and not achieve them? Or do you set goals and find your way making great transformation because of them? Let me know how that's going for you. I know it can be really great at the beginning of the journey. You have lots of energy and lots of enthusiasm. I'm really great at pronouncing that word. But along the way, it can become a little bit more difficult. So where on that journey are you? Let me know down in the comments. So back to the science and research. So Edwin Locke, the researcher, he was talking about how there's 5 different things that you need to have within your goals in order to make them like the best kind of goals you can make. Let's just put it that way. First thing is clarity. Being clear in what you are trying to achieve. Remember, effective goals are specific, so we want to make sure we can paint the best picture. A good test for this is to share your goal with someone else and see if they can see the same vision that you're trying to express. Because you might be using jargon, you might be using vague terms, you might be setting yourself a goal that isn't necessarily measurable, it's more subjective. We want to have hard, measurable goals that push us. And that's why the second thing on the list is to have challenge, to have something that motivates us to get better. Now, adjusting that level of challenge is an art and a science unto itself. But as you go through and you use this goal setting process, you'll start to understand what your capabilities are, what your potential is, and what is actually attainable within your set of resources, etc. And it's fantastic because as you go through this more and more, you start to actually stretch your abilities and you start to be able to do more. It's like working out and building your muscles. Third thing you need is commitment. So I find the easiest way for me to have that sense of commitment is to give myself a reward, set myself a reward that I can have when I've achieved that goal. That way, I'm consistently motivated to stay committed to achieve that prize at the end of it. Fourth thing, feedback. You have to be consistently examining what's happening within your goal setting process, your actions, and what results have come from those actions. How much have you actually been able to achieve? Are your goals set to the right standard, or do they need to be loosened, or do they need to be toughened a little bit more? All of this happens because we have a feedback system. When we have measurable goals that have like a ruler that you can say, okay, I've achieved this watermark, I've achieved this level. Goals that you can communicate to someone else and they can see the same result. There are analytics, there is data behind it, right? This isn't subjective, it's very, very much quantitative. So when we have data and an understanding of our goals in that way, we can actually make efforts and see progress or see if our efforts aren't paying off. So I want you to make sure you constantly have a feedback system that allows you to examine how you're actually doing. And finally, number 5, we got to talk about task complexity. We have to make sure that the goals we are setting and the actions and tasks that make up the doing of that goal are complex enough that we're not boring ourselves. We want to stretch our brains. We want to push our abilities. We want to grow from these challenges. And so we want to make sure that we're not boring ourselves. We don't want to do things that are repetitive. We want to set goals that challenge us and that push us forward. So make sure that on all of these levels, you understand your tolerance for for task complexity, but that you're also being mindful of pushing yourself just one step further each time. Here's a bonus tip. The easiest way to push your abilities forward is to time shrink on experts who have already done these things, to hang out with people who are on those journeys that you're on so that you can learn from what they're doing. That way, you have the advantage of learning from their mistakes without having to make those mistakes yourself, for example. So here's my easy way of doing that. Just take your mouse or take your finger and hit the subscribe button and become a visibility hacker. Because we look in our analytics, because we're looking at our data, and we see that there's a ton of you who are not subscribed to the channel. So we invite you to come along, subscribe, and you'll get notified of all of our latest videos. We're sharing our journeys with you. We're bringing on experts and sharing the expertise so that you can time crunch from what we're learning I love when you guys can take action. So here are your action steps for today. If you want to start setting incredibly powerful goals to set your year off on the right foot, this is where you want to start. You have to first understand the power of visualization, the ability for you to paint that picture in your mind, to see clearly where you are going to be when you've achieved that goal. Who are you as a person? What are the stories that you tell yourself when you are at that peak of your mountain? Seeing and visualizing that isn't a woo-woo activity. It's actually scientifically proven to keep us motivated and to push us forward through the goal setting process. So make sure you take a moment to close your eyes and truly visualize. You can, if you want to, create your own vision boards or Pinterest boards or just a collection of photos on your desktop. It doesn't matter. You have to have something that can help trigger this idea and this feeling, which will motivate you through the hard parts of the goal setting process, especially when we're talking about achievement over an entire year. You're going to be achieving some huge transformation. And that's the second thing I want you guys to remember, is that you need to be setting goals towards personal transformation. Even if they're business-related goals, they will lead to a transformation in who you are, in the way that you hold yourself, in the knowledge and the experience that you have. Give yourself space to become that transformation on the other side. Give yourself the ability within the goals that you set, because you can achieve way more than you ever thought possible. If you've never set goals before, even just the first year of setting goals with this system will transform your life in ways you've never imagined. But you actually get to put on paper and work towards that. It's amazing. Action step. How do we do this? What I want you to do is take out a pen and paper, or sit in front of your whiteboard, or talk it into your microphone. I want you to brainstorm a list of all of the potential huge goals across every aspect of your life and your business. I want you to just keep writing. If you've worked with me before, if you've been here on the channel, the way that we brainstorm is that we put on a timer and we do not stop. We do not cross things out. We never tell ourselves no. We just keep writing. And this allows our brains to dump all of that valuable information. We can edit it, we can cross things out later on, but we want to get our brains into the process of being creative and dumping that creativity onto your list. Just keep writing. And then give yourself a break. Come back tomorrow, check out the next video where we're going to talk about turning those brainstormed ideas into a coherent list of goals that we're going to start achieving. And we're starting to draw out your roadmap to achievement in the next video. So definitely come back for that. I got out of the blue invited to speak on stage in front of a whole slew of my dream customers. I'm going to show you how to do it, how I did it. You can watch me over the shoulder. Check out this playlist over here. We'll see you in our next one. And until we do, remember, I love you, be excellent to each other, and just go live. Your people are waiting for you.